All right, the Biden administration is on the march yet again, and this time they have religious clubs at schools in their crosshairs. You may remember last year the Supreme Court made a decision that actually said that a high school football coach does have the right to pray after the games. Well, I think the Biden administration is still reeling from that, and now they have a counterattack to water down or perhaps even remove protections for religious clubs in the schools. And of course, by removing faith from schools, the left is literally creating a vacuum in which they can inject radical ideologies, things like CRT and the LGBTQ agenda and things of that nature. So joining me now to discuss this is Meg Kilgannon. She's the Senior Fellow for Education Studies here at the Family Research Council. Meg, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me, Jody.
Always great to see you and appreciate you filling in. So let's talk about this. What is the Biden administration attempting to do as what appears to be an outright attack on religious clubs in schools?
Well, the Trump administration had issued prayer and religious expression guidance previously, and it was the first update to that guidance in about 10 years. And it restated very clearly the constitutional protections that are provided for people of faith in public schools. And so when the Biden administration reissued this guidance, it removed all of that language and went to great lengths to make the point that students cannot be, quote unquote, coerced to pray. And it sort of reminded me, earlier this year, there was a story on Washington Watch about a woman in England who'd been arrested for standing outside an abortion clinic, and she was accused of praying in her head, if you recall that story.
I do.
I mean, this is the sort of mentality that we're starting to develop in this country with guidance like this being offered. They have no problem compelling speech when it comes to pronouns, but when, heaven forbid, someone somewhere near a school building might be saying a prayer aloud, that's a crisis.
Wow. Great point there, because they really do. They push this pronoun stuff all over the place, but dare not allow anyone to pray. I also understand that part of this is allowing anyone to be part of the leadership team of these organizations, and to allow perhaps a non-believer to be in leadership does nothing but water down the entire organization from the inside out. Is that correct?
Right. That protection in particular is something that is definitely a problem in colleges when college clubs are not allowed to choose or to restrict leadership positions to people who hold to the doctrines of the faith that the club is there to honor. And so the Trump administration put in protections specifically for that for high school and middle school students, because we always anticipate that everything that's happening in college will get pushed down into the lower grades eventually. So that protection's been removed.
And I'm sure all of this is being done in the name of equity. We've seen at time and again the horrors that come out of this push for so-called equity. But look, I mentioned this, I don't want to make sure I'm accurate, but by them removing faith, it really does create an open door for them to then fill the gap with their liberal left-wing ideologies, things like CRT and LGBTQ agenda and all that sort of stuff. Is that what's going to end up replacing these religious clubs?
Well, I think that that the problem really goes back even much further than that with the removal of prayer from the school. It really represented a removal of, a religious sentiment from the whole of society. And this is something that I think the left in our country has appreciated a little more than the right, sadly, in many cases, is that, the young people being well grounded in a faith experience, even a rote prayer uttered during school time, right, is an acknowledgement of the Almighty in even the most benign way. And so we see now so many people who are raised with no religion at all And they will, under the Biden administration, of course, be protected from any encounter with that kind of religious expression if it's up to the folks at the Department of Education.
Wow. Well, real quickly, I know our time's running out, and I've got two questions. Let me hit the first one real quickly, and if you will, be kind of quick, because I want to get to one final one. But what do these clubs do? These clubs have rights. What's next in the process?
Sure. Any religious club on a high school or middle school or elementary school campus has the right to the same access to facilities, to staff support, to offer services that any other club that's non-religious also has. So that remains true. That's always been true, and that absolutely remains true.
Okay, 30 seconds here. We've had yet another case, someone trying to read some library book material that in essence is just pornographic, but the talking points from the media is just so hypocritical and dishonest about this. Where are we going on this argument?
Well, I think that's a great example of what's filling the void you spoke of earlier in this interview. I mean, that is the kind of material that we're going to find in our schools, and it is absolutely imperative for parents to remove their children from those school settings and insert themselves into the school system, because we cannot leave a void as Christians. We have to be engaged with the school system and make sure that our views are represented.
Meg Kilgannon, thank you so much. We appreciate it.